Hello and welcome. This is a more detailed video about what my pressure caps are and how you use them. This is an example of a pressure cap without the tape on it. It comes apart into three pieces. This piece holds a screw. You can't see it through this label, but there's just an end of a screw here that's been pushed into it and glued in place. These two are wedges, and this is a ring. The ring has a split in it. The ring goes on here, the other wedge goes on top. And then when you tighten it down, you can see the wedge expand, or the ring expands. The wedges push the ring outward, causing it to expand. And that's what grips onto your cup when you're turning. Now, I normally put tape around this because this plastic's pretty slippery, and we don't want something slippery on our cups. Trying to turn with a slippery surface is not a good idea. So what I do to put the tape on is I start by tightening the wedges down all the way. So the two wedges should meet in here. Then we're going to put 2 to 3, sometimes maybe even 4 layers of electrical tape on. I believe with this cup and this piece, 3 is about right. So we're going to do 3 layers. You work your way around. I start at the opening, and then as I come around I know that's 1 layer because I've hit the opening again. Come back around, there's the 2nd layer. And there's the 3rd layer. So you can see that it's shrunk in some and got a little bit of looseness there. And when we go to put this on the cup, then it sits in there. On some cups there's a ridge right there. And I try and size these so that they sit right on top of that ridge because it's a little easier to put them in. But if there is no ridge, that's okay. You can hold the pressure cap in place as you tighten it, and it'll tighten up on that edge. In this case, I'm just going to put it all the way down on that ridge because it's a little easier to do. Tighten it up. It's in there good and tight, and it's not going to come off while you're turning your cup. So, what are some of the advantages to this? Well, one of the advantages you can see right here is that this rubber has sealed the top. It's all the way around. There's a little tiny gap right there that you may get a little bit of leakage in, but if you accidentally spill epoxy up here, when you go to clean up your cup afterwards, you're not going to have a lot of epoxy to clean up on the inside. It's sealed it and helped protect it from having a lot of cleanup issues. So an example of the epoxy leakage or blocking the epoxy leakage with the pressure caps. This cup was done with a pressure cap. It's not done yet, but it's got a layer of epoxy on it. You can see there's a little bit right in here, but otherwise this is just the spray paint from when it was spray painted, because she didn't have a pressure cap in it when it was spray painted. This one here, on the other hand, was done with a football, which is still in it. And you can see we've got epoxy that's leaked down onto the inside of the cup, and that's going to have to be cleaned out before the cup can be done. And that's going to take quite a bit more work and risk damaging the outside finish because you're using things that destroy epoxy while you're doing it. Another one of the advantages is that this is quite stable in there, whereas with a football, there's usually some play. You end up with some problems like that, or it ends up crooked while you're turning it. And you see it going around, So you see it going around and wobbling as it goes around. Another advantage is with the footballs, you get some epoxy up here, and you're actually gluing, because epoxy is a glue, you're gluing your football to your cup. And when you go to pull out your football, you end up with pieces that come off and end up stuck on the inside of the cup that you have to clean up. And eventually you have to replace the footballs because they've been all torn apart. Sometimes you end up with this problem where you've had a smaller mouth on your bottle and you get a football stuck in there. And the only way I think we're going to get this out is tear that football apart, which is wasteful. We have to buy another football now. And the footballs tend to come unglued off of the pipe as well, which causes similar problems. So another one of the advantages to me is I'm using a shorter length of pipe. I don't have to use a length of pipe that goes all the way into the bottom of the bottle, so that means I'm using about half the pipe that I would be using otherwise. This one here, you can see we've got a pretty long length of pipe in there. so that it can go down inside the cup to try and support the cup a little bit better. But in this case, you don't need that. So about half the pipe is used. All right, in addition to the 2 wedges and the ring, there's another piece involved here. It's an insert that goes into your pipe. And the insert carries a nut that allows it to screw onto the wedges. This is a 1/2 inch pipe that my wife's turner uses, so the insert's sized for that, but I also have a size for a 3/4 inch pipe. And it slides in here, gets super glued in, the nut gets super glued in, and it goes all the way in. I'm not going to push it all the way in though. And that is what screws onto the pressure cap's end here. Now that leaves the other end of the pipe completely open for however you hold it onto your turner, whether that be Nerf balls or whatever other mechanism you're using to hold that onto your turner. So then you end up with your handle, goes onto the turner nicely. And that is all I have for this video. Thank you for your time.